Hi guys, it's Michelle, and today's video is going to be yet another TikTok conspiracy theories video for you guys. Y'all know I love TikTok. You guys really like these videos covering different conspiracy theories that are popping off on TikTok or just like looking at scary TikToks. So without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, the first thing I want to talk about is something dark is going on with Britney Spears. So in my previous pop culture conspiracy theories video, we touched on how Britney Spears believed that her mother actually set her up because Britney had the police called on her at the Chateau Marmont when she twisted her ankle, and Britney was completely fine. Basically, it became this whole spectacle, and because TMZ showed up, and Britney believes that her mother, Lynn Spears, was the one who tipped off TMZ and called the paramedics. Now there's a conspiracy theory going around TikTok that I think makes so much sense, and it is all about how TMZ is actually being paid by Britney Spears' parents to get her back into her conservatorship. I think this is so true, and I've honestly been wondering this for kind of a while. Since Britney has been free, we have seen TMZ cover basically anything that has to do with Britney Spears, and they immediately suggest that she should be in her conservatorship again, which is strange because you're a news media outlet. I just feel like that's like not really something you should be saying. TMZ has always been really lame, so I'm not surprised. I think Britney even believes this theory herself, that her parents are paying the tabs as like kind of like a general statement to make her look bad, but a lot of people on TikTok are conspirizing that it's specifically TMZ. You might be asking, why would Britney's parents want to make her look bad? Well, it makes a lot of sense because TMZ lately has really been pushing the narrative that Britney has gone back to her old ways, that she's back in the same state of mind that she was in 2007 when her conservatorship was put in place, especially after the way that Britney has spoken about her conservatorship and about her parents. I full-heartedly believe that her parents are doing everything that they can to get that control of Britney's estate back. That is the biggest part of the conservatorship that was beneficial for Britney's parents, is 100% the money. If you don't remember when Britney was in a conservatorship, and if you don't know what a conservatorship is, it is like the last resort when someone is usually very, very old and very senile. And a lot of the times they're only looking after their monetary estate. Britney was basically under lock and key in her conservatorship. Amanda Bynes is in one as well. And her parents essentially controlled every single little move that she made, including like where she would go get coffee in the morning, where she was going to live, and she would go for a walk. She would have to ask permission. All of this happening while she was performing a Vegas residency show like every single night, making like 800 grand a night. So she's not seeing any of that money. So keep that in mind. I think it makes so much sense that Britney's parents paid TMZ to, you know, kind of shift the narrative again to make everyone believe that Britney really did need her conservatorship. I don't think this is gonna work because the Free Britney movement was honestly way too big. I just think that like we know their tricks by now.
Mr. Spears, you had me fooled. And you too, Mrs. Spears. Death to all of them.
When I was researching this conspiracy theory on Reddit, I saw that there was a theory that compared this situation to that of Michael Jackson's, like the months / like maybe last year of his life. So both Britney and Michael Jackson have achieved so much in their career at such a young age, and honestly, both of them, like Britney now and Michael at the time of his death, their best days were probably behind them. It would be hard to top what they had already done. But they're no longer young, they can't perform as much as they used to. The theory goes that Michael Jackson was proof that an icon, after their days of being young, ready to perform, and really, really famous, like after the height of their fame, kind of like during the down peak, they are worth more in death than they are in life. And that is scary, and a lot of people think that that's what's happening to Britney. Music industry, her parents, I don't know, someone is trying to have her murdered. A lot of people think Michael Jackson was murdered because of that reason, whether it's the Illuminati, the music industry, however you want to see it. I do think that this is a relatively big theory in the music industry as a whole, especially with Elvis Presley as well. I feel like if you watched the Elvis movie at all, like you'd know that Elvis and Colonel Tom Parker, it was so clear that the reason they wanted him dead was because he was going to make more money in death than he did in life at that point. Conspiracy theorists believe that the Illuminati or music industry are planning to kill Britney Spears. Honestly, hope that this is not true. Of course, we have seen in history that these artists get to a certain age, they are definitely worth more in death than in life, and sadly there are people who value Britney's money over her life, and her own parents are some of those people, which is really fucking sad. Honestly, whenever I think of Britney Spears, it just makes me so sad how many people have failed her. I have like a lot of theories as to why I think Britney is kind of the way that she is now, because obviously like something's slightly off. I don't think that she needs to be in a conservatorship. I don't think that she's going crazy. What I do think is this girl has a lot of trauma. She was pumped with drugs that she didn't need, which is gonna have psychological effects on your brain when you take medication that you don't need. And she has stated that that was the case. All of this built up just created the perfect storm for Britney to be the way she is. She's like a little wacky now, a little weird, but it's fine. I don't think any circumstance where someone of Britney's caliber should be in a conservatorship, especially in regards to her parents, because they seem like they're 100% in it for the money, and that's really gross. I guess I don't know the Spears personally, but these are some things that Britney herself claims. Let me know what you guys. I would rather not. All right, the next TikTok we're going to be talking about has to do with this concept, life is a simulation. A lot of people go through existential crisis when they hear these life is a simulation theories. Personally, I've just accepted that I think that that is what is true. And this concept made me think a lot. Basically, a TikTok came out saying that how weird is it that we spend hours a day on social media, on our computers, like phones, TVs, and everything, but none of those things really appear in our dreams. A lot of the comments were like, yeah, that's so weird. I've literally never had like any form of technology in my dream. I feel like people are comparing it to the situation of you've never seen your neighbors take in groceries. I think that that is so true. And I have actually, since hearing that theory, been on the lookout to see neighbors taking in their groceries, and I never do. I literally never do. So many people believe that that means that life is a simulation. There was another TikTok of similar vibes of this guy named Cody who basically noticed one day that every door in his hallway in his apartment building had a Chinese menu in the door. Days later, they all still had the menus on them, as if no one had ever entered or exited their apartments in 5 days. So Cody went down to the parking garage and noticed that all of the cars were covered in dust, like they hadn't been driven in months. So he got extremely freaked out and decided to pull a fire alarm in his building, and nobody exited the building besides him. This is supposed to be a place where 800 people live. Like, this is a big apartment. That freaks me the fuck out because I feel like I've experienced similar vibes. I will say, basically there's this like lady who's always outside. Whenever I come home, it's like she's getting home or leaving her apartment. At all times, I'll open the elevator. She's in the fucking elevator. It freaks me the fuck out. This like lady's probably like 65, 70 years old. I've even seen her sometimes very late, 1 a.m. And I was like, girl, what the fuck are you at? Where are you going? Or where are you coming back from? I don't understand. It freaks me out because it reminds me of both of these TikToks of like life is a simulation theory, and that everyone around you are just NPCs. Like they're basically like fillable characters to fill your mind. One time I've talked about this and people were like, that's so self-centered and blah, blah. Like, I was like, shut the fuck up. I don't live life like this is true. I just have accepted that this could be a possibility and everyone around me could be a robot. I don't like live life thinking that I'm the only person on earth. It's just like, it's just a thought, you know? It's a thought that definitely crosses my mind. I'm sorry, God forbid. But this lady freaked me out so much, and a couple of my friends came to stay at my apartment for one night. They were going to Japan. They had a layover in LA. And I was taking them to the airport the next morning, and one of my friends like pointed out that that lady is everywhere. And I was like, I know. I just feel like it's a sign that life is a simulation. Like stuff like that just repeating. I'm like, this is just our brain. Like, it's like we're literally the Sims. We're actually the Sims, and I can't. All right, the next theory is about Miss JoJo Siwa. I feel like everything I learn about JoJo Siwa is against my own will. There are people who think that JoJo Siwa joined the Illuminati, and that is why she is so famous lately. I think a lot of this stems from Karma song and music video because of how fucking weird it was. It was just very when Miley Cyrus came out with Can't Be Tamed. Like, it's this, you know, children's show girl trying to show that they're all grown up. But a lot of people believe that that means that JoJo sold her soul to the devil and is now a part of the Illuminati. I don't know if I think that's true. I do believe that this JoJo Siwa rebrand is actually being used to cover up some controversy because, like I said, I feel like I literally know when JoJo Siwa takes a goddamn shit, but I didn't ever hear about this. It was a part of a very big controversy that I had no idea about, I had never heard of. In February of 2024, a Rolling Stones article dropped about JoJo, and honestly, it did not look so good. Basically, in 2021, JoJo Siwa and her mom, Jessalyn, hosted a TV show called Siwa's Dance Pop Revolution, where essentially like the plot was like they would have kids audition and then they created like a girl group called X OMG Pop. Has anyone heard of that? Because like I haven't. I know it's supposed to be like kind of like a Kids Bop vibe, so it's probably why I haven't heard about it, but like shit, I didn't know that JoJo Siwa went on like a Simon Cowell, you know, journey. But regardless, according to a lot of the kids who were on this show and a part of the pop group OMG Pop, claimed that working with JoJo and her mother was terrible. So a girl named Leah Sanderson, who was 14 years old at the time, basically was promised, along with the other girls of OMG Pop, that they were going to be the next big thing and just have huge success. According to Leah, her and the other children, they were forced to work grueling hours. They had to miss school for rehearsals, and all while being severely underpaid. So Leah had to undergo spinal cord surgery. In the days leading up to the surgery, she was at a rehearsal for a performance at the Children's and Families Emmys, which was hosted by JoJo. This 14-year-old girl began bleeding from her belly button. Clearly something is wrong. JoJo's mother just told her to put a maxi pad on her stomach so that it wouldn't get on the costume. That is insane. OMG Pop was a thing for almost 2 years, and during the entirety of it, apparently Jessalyn was just brutally awful. JoJo herself would also be really, really nasty towards them and would just scream insults at them during their performances, and JoJo also would pick favorites of the group and just created a very cutthroat environment of the pop girl group. They're young kids, and JoJo is like the person they're looking up to, and she was pitting them against each other. Hearing this doesn't shock me. It's like when I hear Leah Michelle was a bitch. I'm like, yeah, obviously. She was a theater kid.
JoJo! Have you learned nothing?
But either way, people think that because this was coming out in February of 2024, and the reason that no one really heard about it was because JoJo suddenly kind of switched up her whole vibe, released Karma, was just being cringe and strange on the internet, and everyone was talking about that. So when this article came out, it didn't really get the press that it maybe deserved because people were talking about other things in regards to JoJo Siwa. I kind of believe that. I think a lot of celebrities do that shit. They try to like come up with something to cover other controversies, and I don't know. I 100% believe it. So I think that this is really interesting and honestly really freaking shitty. All right, the next theory that we're going to be talking about is the blonde theory. So I saw this on TikTok and I think it low-key makes a lot of sense. Basically, there's been several instances where celebrities who have had either mental breakdowns or some sort of controversy will like leave the spotlight and then come back with bleach blonde hair. There's two theories that have to go with this. One is that maybe it's like some sort of Illuminati ritual where they needed to have like a mental breakdown, they come back blonde, that signifies that they're a part of the Illuminati. Or other people think it has to do with like MK Ultra, and that these celebrities like stepped off the track of kind of like the Illuminati and then were forced back into it, and the way that they're signifying that they were forced back to default settings was the blonde hair. Kanye is a really easy example of this. I feel like 2016 publicly had a lot of breakdowns, and he was also talking about exposing the Illuminati in the music industry. He was just yapping, honestly. Like, he just didn't stop. He was just talking. Then he came back with bleach blonde hair, I will say, and went on to have one of the most successful albums that he has had yet. Also, Lana Del Rey has a lyric that says Kanye is blonde and gone, and a lot of people think that that means that he sold his soul to the devil, and this blonde hair after a mental breakdown is sort of a sign of that somehow, some symbol. I don't know. I'm not in the Illuminati. I mean, Kanye has a lyric on God that says, I bleached my hair for every time I could have died, which, like, what do you mean by that? I kind of believe it. And I've seen that this has been a pattern. Amy Winehouse, she was having quite the controversy 2006, 2007 for drug use and just like various different rehab stints. And in 2008, she pops up with bleach blonde hair. Justin Bieber is another example. He got arrested and started acting out, peeing on things. What the fuck was he doing? Either way, he left the scene for a while and then reemerged with bright blonde hair. Britney Spears, when she first got into her conservatorship in 2007, she went into the conservatorship with brown hair, like post mental breakdown. And then with her comeback, she was back to her bleach blonde self and had so much more success to go from there. I think makes the most sense is that every time a celebrity does something heinous or kind of like goes off the rails and tries to like expose the Illuminati, they come back with that blonde hair as a symbol of a code of reset to the Illuminati. Like, oh, this person's been reset, they're back on track. I don't know, something about it is weird, and I definitely think that there's something there. All right, the last thing that we're going to be talking about has to do with the Church of Scientology. My favorite topic, except for I actually feel like sometimes they're gonna kill me. They scare me. Anyway, there have been some updates regarding Shelly Miscavige that honestly freaks me the fuck out. If you don't know who Shelly Miscavige is, basically David Miscavige is the leader of Scientology. Shelly Miscavige is his wife, who has been missing and never seen by the media for the past 17 years. Nobody knows where she is. No one will answer any questions. There is something weird going on for sure in regards to this. In 2022, I don't know how I didn't see this, Leah Remini spoke out and basically talked about her experience with trying to find Shelly Miscavige. Leah Remini is an actor who used to be a part of the Church of Scientology, and Shelly's disappearance was a big part of the reason why Leah ended up leaving the church. And now a lot of what Leah does is speak out against Scientology. And she full-heartedly calls it a cult, talks about how toxic of an environment it was for her growing up. She went on Twitter and was tweeting about Shelly Miscavige's disappearance. Basically, she confirmed one of the reasons that she left Scientology was because in 2006 at Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes' wedding, massive event for the Scientologists. Like, this was the wedding of the century. You have to understand, the one thing about Scientologists is that they love their celebrities. Like, they love the celebrity endorsement of Tom Cruise and John Travolta, like other Scientologists who are a part of their church. They love that shit. So this was like a big deal. And David was there, but Shelly was not. Leah casually asked where Shelly was and was told, you don't have the fucking rank to ask about Shelly. Not only was she just like kind of like shit on by the person who she asked, but she was also punished for this by the Church of Scientology. Punished for asking where some lady was. Apparently she was subjected to several months of cruel interrogations and reprogramming for the quote-unquote high crime of asking where Shelly was. That's one thing about the Church of Scientology is they definitely believe in cruel and unusual punishments. Like, they're very, I don't really understand why that is the way that it is, but something about it is off. Obviously. Leah Remini had not seen Shelly Miscavige for 6 years before she ended up filing a police report because she wasn't able to until she left the church. So in 2013, when she left the church, she went through a friend at the LAPD that she knew and basically filed a missing persons report. And within hours, the case was closed and the LAPD made a public statement saying that they had made contact with Shelly Miscavige. But what's weird about this is Leah was the person who filed the missing persons case. She found out through the news that LAPD had closed the case and made contact with Shelly. It is very strange to me that they did not contact her first, but I also don't really understand. I don't know what the protocol is. Leah went back to the police department and spoke to the detectives and asked if they spoke to Shelly themselves, and they claimed that that was LAPD classified information. They also told her that if she wanted to know anything more about the Shelly Miscavige case, that she would have to file a public record request. So she did. She actually went about this. She spent over $50,000 in attorney fees and filing request fees, but all of her requests were denied by the LAPD. Something that's interesting that I think Leah said was that Scientology had always kept law enforcement on their side, especially with the LAPD, which we've talked about them being corrupt before. We believe that that's the case. The Church of Scientology donates a lot of money to LAPD charities, and also that they hire off-duty LAPD cops as security guards. Two options here. Either Shelly is fine, disbelievable option, because why wouldn't she just like be like, hey, it's possible, but it's highly unlikely. Or the Church of Scientology has the LAPD wrapped around their finger because the fact that all of this can occur and there's a person could be missing for 17 years and there are no investigation and no answers whatsoever, that's insane. Like, actually fucking crazy. I just wonder what exactly happened to Shelly. A lot of people think that she's like alive and being hidden somewhere. A lot of other people think that she's dead. A lot of people think maybe she like learned something about the cult that she shouldn't have known. I have no clue, but I will say I think Leah Remini like still talking about this to this day is insane. Clearly she has the inside scoop, the tea, everything of how bad it actually was. It makes my skin crawl when I think about it. Like, where the fuck is this woman, and how is everyone just willing to ignore that she's been missing and hasn't been seen by anybody in 17 years? That's crazy. Anyway, that is it for today's video. If you guys liked it, please give it a big thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of these conspiracy theories, and if you have any other theories, tag me in them on TikTok because I love these videos. That is it. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, and subscribe for new videos every week, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.